Welcome back to Growth Lab Sessions. I'm Joao, CEO of Stealth White Label Agency. Today, we're diving into the intersection of AI strategy and scalable agency models. Our guest is a professor, board advisor, keynote speaker. If you want to move from using AI tools to building AI-powered assets, this session is for you. So going into class 2, building strategic intelligence tools and workflow. So today we see people sharing prompts everywhere, right? We see it a lot in Instagram. And the prompts alone rarely create value, right? So in your view, what transforms a prompt into a workflow? And when does that workflow become something closer to a strategic asset?
Yeah, that's a good question because as I mentioned in the class 1 about people are getting crazy about the best tools, people are also getting crazy about what's the best prompt, how I improve my prompt. But I think prompt is basically a question, right? It's useful, but it's just the beginning. And we are talking here about a workflow. So workflow appears when you connect multiple steps together. For example, research, idea generation, that things that I was presenting the class one. So analysis, execution, etc. Each step informs the next one. But a workflow becomes a strategic asset when 3 things happen. First, it integrates real data from the business, as we talk a lot. Second, it becomes repeatable in structure. And third, it generates insights that influence decisions. So at that point, the workflow is no longer just helping someone write faster or create content faster. It's helping the company think better and make better decisions. So the prompt is not the final goal, but just the beginning. And as we have rules for talking and writing in some languages, we have some rules and best practice for prompts as well.
So do we want to see anything else in like how to create prompts? If you're an agency owner looking to scale, you definitely want to explore our solutions at Stealth White Label Agency. With 14 years of experience and over 120 niches, we've been helping agency owners not only fulfill for their clients, but also acquire new clients so you can only focus on scale for your agency. If you're interested, definitely DM me, Joao, on my Instagram or comment below and somebody's gonna reach back to you. Back to the podcast.
Yeah, there's as I mentioned, people sometimes are struggling about the best prompts. And I love this site, prompts.chat. We have a lot of categories here, vibe coding, video generation, image generation, for example. And I can search by different types here. And I can, for example, let's say that I want to create a prompt for marketing. So I have an option here. Look, marketing mastermind for product promotion. So I love the framework role, RTF, role task format. So the role, act as a marketing mastermind. You are a seasoned expert in division marketing strategy, etc., etc. Role, the second one. Your responsibilities include this and that, ensure alignment, design strategic initiatives, so on and so forth. The constraints, etc., and the format that I wanna create. So I just click here. I just copy the text and I can paste in my preferred LLM like ChatGPT or others. So these are valuable resource to have ideas about prompts.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I have my little hacks to come up with good prompts, especially for images and videos. So it's cool to see prompts.chat. I'm going to test that out to create better prompts. So in terms of, talking about automation, right? From your research and experience, what tends to separate simple automation from AI systems that actually support high-level strategic decision-making?
Yeah, automation usually focuses on tasks, right? It helps execute repetitive activities more efficiently. Strategic AI systems, as we are talking here, are different. They focus on insight generation and decision support. It's different than only automate one task. Okay, I want to send an email. It's great. You can automate the email process. But the difference here is when you automate not only a specific task, but also something deeper. In other words, automation answers the question, how can we do this task faster, right? A strategic AI system answers the question, what should we do next and why? So let me show you a couple of tools. But the point here is those systems combine multiple elements: data analysis, pattern recognition, contextual knowledge, and sometimes predictive capabilities. So when those pieces come together, AI stops being just an operation tool and becomes a thinking partner. Let me show you something that I loved. We have a lot of options like NHN, Flowwise, Make. I can share all these links later. But again, as we talk about prompts, most people are struggling when they start to create a workflow like that. And let's see something about N8N. That's the leader, one of the best tools for do that. I like instead of starting from scratch, I like to use some templates. So I can go in this website in HN slash workflows, and I can search, for example, I search something about just agency, and I have this template. Look, use for free. You click here, you just copy the template, and you have this, boom, agency profitability monitor. They create all the steps. Let's show you in more details here. So for start a task, I want to have a trigger, right? A trigger could be a client sending a message, could be input from my WhatsApp, etc. So I can, of course, we need to set up all these triggers, and it's more complex to show now. But just to show you guys how I can use templates and speed up my process. Look this. I can connect to a Facebook API, run the Facebook ads, and put all these things together, including Get a Campaign, Google Ads, Shopify, etc. The Stripe payment methods, etc., etc., and populate this in a message. I can have, for example, chat or another agent just to create a campaign, another agent just to create images, another agent just to analyze the results of my campaign, and then aggregate all of this and send me a checklist or something that I need to decide. We call this human in the loop. You know, we have all these agents working for you, and then you can create a component when you say, okay, this is something that I want to decide. Then you send to a human for yourself, for example, to decide, and then you go. So just templates.
Yeah, that's really good for like queuing and creating tasks for humans. So like if you're doing work with NAN for SDRs or salespeople or media buyers, you definitely want to put a layer of a human eye to validate and also make some minor edits until you become really confident about the output of, you know, whatever is going on. When you become confident because you've refined the prompt over time, then you can remove that human element. But that's definitely a great point about queuing it up to a human, so you can like get that notification, you know, create that task for like an operator that you have inside of your company.
Yeah, instead of delivering a campaign report, for example, the company delivers a system that constantly analyzes performance and recommends optimization. That changed the perception of value that you mentioned earlier. You know, the perception of value is different when you have something that's continually improve itself and get the results faster. The client's no longer paying for a task. The client's paying for intelligence and ongoing improvement.